I've calmed down a little bit since yesterday. I haven't lost my temper or anything like that, but I was grumpy in yesterday's video, and I'm not going to apologise for that. That's what happens. If we win, I'm sort of elated. If we lose, I'm a bit grumpy. And I think most football fans, to be fair, are like that. So I'm not going to apologise for that at all. I want to talk a little bit more on reflection, I think, about the game yesterday, but more on Lopetegui's comments, the referee, the ridiculous reports about West Ham fans fighting amongst themselves in a stadium, which is not true at all. And well, first of all, let me just address the Lopetegui thing, because after yesterday's video, somebody accused me of, after the Newcastle game, I was Lopetegui in, and then yesterday I'm anti-Lopetegui again. It's just not true. It's actually a lie. You just made it up, right? And I'm only talking to one specific person here, but I just want to make this point in case you didn't know. Myself and Gio did a video, I don't know, midweek, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that, where we were answering questions, and basically somebody asked if we were still if we were Lopetegui in or Lopetegui out. And my own opinion was, and I said this 2-3 days ago, that all Newcastle did for me was make me think quite possibly Lopetegui is not completely incompetent. That's all it did, right? And I was hopeful that we might see something which would suggest he'd changed tack and we were looking forward. That was it. I'd never got to the Newcastle game. I thought, hey, Lopetegui and give him a 4 or 5 year contract. In fact, I was actually mocking TalkSport, who said that we might even think that. That was never, ever going to be the case. So his stock was rock bottom. Before Newcastle game, Lopetegui's stock was rock bottom. After Newcastle game, it went like that. That's all that's happened, and now it's still about there, really. I'm still very highly suspicious of him, and I did not like the tactics that he employed against Arsenal. With the risk of repeating myself yesterday, I found it very, very hard to understand that you could have watched last season's 6-goal thumping and then implemented those tactics that we saw yesterday. Well, what I really didn't like was his comments afterwards. Now, he had a lot of... He didn't name Anthony Taylor, but he was talking about Anthony Taylor. He was talking about the officiating. As I said in yesterday's video, I thought the officiating was poor, both the big decisions and even the small ones. There were throw-ins we didn't get. There were goal kicks that were given as corners, things like that. But we were losing that game. And the thing is, to hear Lopetegui sort of blaming the officials absolved himself of responsibility, and I did not like that at all. Firstly, it was his fault he was in the stands. He has a lack of discipline on the touchline, and it's a lack of discipline which permeates around his players. It's why we get so many cards. It's why we've had so many players being banned this season. There's a lack of discipline. It starts at the top, and it's also why you hear these stories about Lopetegui and Kudus squaring up to each other in the dressing room. So the fact that he wasn't there, maybe, I'm not entirely sure, even if he was in the dugout, that he would have been able to do anything. But we would have stood more of a chance. He certainly didn't help. Let's not pretend he helped by being stuck up there. And so he has to take some responsibility for that. He absolutely does, particularly when you've got somebody like Mikel Arteta in the other dugout. And particularly when you've got such a big technical area like you do at the London Stadium. I would very much see that myself as almost a duel. There's almost like this gladiatorial thing going on between the two head coaches. But to have this sort of animated Arteta there, giving his instructions, putting pressure on the fourth official, putting pressure on the referee, and then for Lopetegui not to be there, I think you're already surrendering something. What it is, I don't know, but you're surrendering something. Maybe just the ability to make quick decisions. Maybe it's the ability to put some kind of influence on the fourth official, the referee. I don't know. But we're worse off for him being there. The other thing is his tactics. I really hope that he doesn't come away from that game thinking that West Ham lost because of the referee. But I couldn't help but think he does. After listening to his comments, his post-match comments, I thought, mate, I need to hear a little bit more about you being silly and getting yourself sent to the stands, but also that your tactics were so bad. They were so bad. To see us retreating and retreating and retreating. I sort of liked the Newcastle game, I think, because not only did we work hard, not only did we have the two playmakers in central midfield, which I thought was really good, but I thought we had a slightly deeper line than the ridiculously high line that saw us getting ripped apart already in the season. But it's not like we even did that. We just went right back. Completely parking the bus, really. And I just think it just invited pressure. And do you know what? Here's my opinion on it. When you have someone like Lucas Paquetá, did Lucas Paquetá make contact with Saka for the penalty? I think he didn't. I think he didn't, right? But what I do understand is that if you're going to start swinging your leg at someone, they're going to dive, and they're going, particularly in this game, and someone like Saka's going to dive, and he's going to make a meal of it, and that's what happened. My point is something was going to give, because by the time Paquetá had conceded the penalty, he'd been asked to do more defending than someone of his skill set should have been doing. At some point, if you keep putting Paquetá, which he was, sometimes at left back, sometimes almost at left centre back, you keep asking him to do that, at some point someone's getting hacked down. At some point you're going to concede a penalty. So was that technically a penalty? It might not have been. Other times it might not have been given, but you were asking for it to happen. You were putting skillful players up, our skillful players, in our box defending, and they don't have the technique, the tackling technique. It's not Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka is renowned for his one-on-one defending, his tackling technique. Lucas Paquetá isn't. He's renowned for his vision and his passing and all that sort of stuff, technical ability. So I think Lopetegui, I did not like what I heard from him on that, by the way. I want to get it over with now, and I do actually want to move on to the next game. I'll probably have a little bit more of a talk about it tomorrow. But look, tomorrow's Monday. We are on to the next. Next game is on Tuesday, and I think for that I'm grateful. And I think there was certainly an opportunity for him to make substitutions. I think he did that. I think he tried to protect his players. I feel if Mikel Antonio is a battery, right? I couldn't help but feel... I looked at it after 20 minutes and thought, you can't take someone off after 20 minutes. But again, after seeing him not available for the outball, after seeing him defending on the left wing constantly, I thought, are we using up his battery here? If he has so much power in the battery, are we not best off just getting him out of there and then just... Because it was a write-off. Let's be fair, the game was a write-off after half an hour. I was thinking, are we better off not just getting him to charge his battery, and he starts against Leicester City with a full battery. I probably would have done so myself. I guess the fact that we were able to come back into the game to an extent would have made him feel that he did the right thing by leaving Antonio on there. But we were never going to get, what was going to happen? We were never going to make that back to 4-4. It was just never going to happen. They were just going to step on the accelerator again, which is exactly what they did. Did we make them a little bit nervous? Did we bloody their nose? Yeah, ever so slightly. But the fact that I think that, number one, I think particularly the Carlos Soler goal, the fact that he was able to play that pass, beautiful pass it was as well, it really just gave question to the fact of why didn't we start like that? If you looked where Lucas Paquetá got hacked down, it was Declan Rice, I think, wasn't it? And put us right in a dangerous position right on the edge of their area. Why weren't we there anyway? It was too little too late from West Ham, and I think what I probably wanted from Lopetegui was the admission of that. The game had gone, mate. The game had gone. Yes, the referee was crap. Absolutely. Officiating was crap. I could on another day. Look, I actually thought Fabianski was horrendous in that game. I really did. And he did. I don't think it's any defence that he only punched Gabriel in the face a little bit. Honestly, I'd rather he just went bang and just punched him. Get him out. If you're going to do it, get him out of the game. Do you know what I mean? If you just make it look a little bit more accidental. I just think it was clumsiness. I really do. But I think if you're going to come out the area, punching at the ball and missing, you're going to miss the ball and you're going to catch the player, then you're going to be asking for trouble. But I just think there was a lot of it. At some point, pressure was going to tell. Too much pressure was put on Fabianski. Too much pressure was put on Paquetá. Too much pressure was put on a lot of the players. So, come on, Lopetegui. At least admit that it wasn't all down to bad officiating. Yes, decisions could have gone the other way, but and probably should have done. And I thought he had a bad game. Taylor. I really did. Anyway, I'm just repeating myself what I said yesterday. If I carry on with that, a quick one on the fighting. I want to talk about ChatGPT afterwards. By the way, so I think it was the Sun who suggested huge brawl between West Ham fans in the London Stadium. It just wasn't true. There was a scuffle, but it certainly wasn't West Ham fan and West Ham fan, because the media would like to spin the narrative that West Ham fans were so frustrated that we set upon each other and started beating each other up. That's not what happened. By the way, that did happen when we first moved into that London Stadium. That did happen in there. But that wasn't what happened yesterday. It was because basically the ground got infiltrated by a load of Arsenal fans. And what I'm really unhappy with is the statement of the club, which I'm going to read out to you now, which I think is an absolute disgrace, truth be known. Let's just read that for you now. The statement from the club. A spokesman for the Hammers told the Sun, well, they shouldn't be telling the Sun anything because the Sun were misreporting. The club is aware of the incident and will be working to identify the offenders. West Ham have reiterated their commitment to a zero-tolerance policy on misconduct, stating, in line with our zero-tolerance policy, anyone identified will have their details passed to the police and will be given an indefinite ban and therefore unable to enter London Stadium and travel with the club. There is no place for this kind of behaviour in the stadium. Well, firstly, if you try and implement a stadium ban on anyone, you're not going to be able to enforce it anyway because the security's crap. Quite frankly, the amount of Arsenal fans that got in there with Arsenal shirts and banners and stuff like that, if you can get in there with that, you can get in there with anything. The London Stadium security is shit. It's as simple as that. It is awful, absolutely awful. The way they constantly group people together and congregate people at these stop points, both entering and leaving the stadium, makes it very, very bad. Very, very bad indeed. I've never seen so many stewards at any football ground, not Wembley, never mind football ground, anything, Wembley, Twickenham, anywhere. I've never been to a venue, an event in the whole of my life that has more stewards than a West Ham game. From the moment you get out of that station, from the moment you get into the ground, they're everywhere. High-vis jackets, absolutely everywhere. Right? There were Arsenal fans inside the ground with their Arsenal shirts on. Granted, under a coat, but it was as visible as this top is that's under my gillet here, right? Why were they allowed in? Why were they allowed into the home section? You've all been there, right? Well, I say you've all been there. Those of you that are lucky enough to, live in the UK and been to the London Stadium. You have to queue up when you go. There's two sets of security measures. Yet when you go in through your gate, there's loads of security there. Not only when you scan your barcode or whatever it is and you go through, there's someone before you go in and there's some waiting on the other side. All it takes someone to say, "Oi, you out." But I'll tell you this now, and I'm really, really annoyed about this. I've got no problem with stewards per se. I've got no problem with anyone taking a job. So you should. And there was a big thing about that West Ham being at the Olympic Stadium was going to generate jobs for Newham. I'll tell you now, because I've asked and I've spoken to them, and some of them are really, really nice people, don't get me wrong. A lot of the stewards are Arsenal fans, right? So was a blind eye turned? I don't know. Who knows? But I'll tell you this much now. Having spoken to at least 4 people today, there were numerous incidents, 4 different people, not 4 people that were all grouped together, numerous incidents in the ground of Arsenal fans being in there. Arsenal fans were in there en masse, right? And they weren't they weren't trying to hide it at all. I'll admit, I have gone and sat in an away end before, all right? And I've done it on numerous occasions. I remember going down to Southampton the only time. I remember almost clapping Freddie Canute and then thinking, "Oh no, don't." I went in the Southampton end, and obviously I'm a West Ham fan, to watch Southampton versus West Ham. But I was polite. I kept my head down. When then, I tried to mimic a little bit what the crowd were doing because I just wanted to watch West Ham, but I also didn't want to get beaten up, obviously, right? And there's a thing about being a little bit respectful. This is what was going on yesterday. You had Arsenal fans in the West Ham end with Arsenal shirts on, and then I think, somebody told me yesterday that when Emerson scored, they said they were suspicious anyway. They saw a little flash of red and all the rest of it. When Emerson scored, didn't get up, didn't celebrate. Right? Everyone else celebrates. Everyone's celebrating, jumping up and down, high-fiving and doing what you're doing, right? Giving a cuddle to the geezer next to you. And so, these people are sat down. like that, when West Ham score. Then when Arsenal scored, they started laughing and start filming the Arsenal celebration. People are thinking, hold on. And then the phone gets out and it's all this. Anyway, so words are said. Mate, get out. Just get out of here. Get out of it. You're not even meant to be, for help, just purely health and safety reasons, you shouldn't be mixing fans up. That's just what football's like. It's not rugby league, right? This is not what it is. It's football. So you can't mix up the fans. So a steward gets called, steward takes his while to do it, scuffle breaks out. That's what happened, and it happens on numerous places in the ground yesterday. So for the club to come out and basically say, oh, we'll identify, they're basically saying we'll identify any West Ham fans and ban them. That's what they're saying. Why don't you sort yourselves out, right? Sort it out, sort the security out, because it happens all the time. Stop away fans getting into the home end and take, again, like Lopetegui, take a little bit of bloody responsibility yourselves here, because... a lot of them, and I will say this now, a lot of them, these people are on the wind-up as well, right? So they come in, they're on the wind-up, they're smirking, they don't... It should not be allowed. It should not be allowed at all. I was going to say, ChatGPT. So I think I might... some people liked it, some people didn't. One person said, I can't believe I'm being forced to suffer this. When I spoke to ChatGPT on the phone and asked them for their prediction ahead of the Arsenal game. She got it wrong. I'm going to have a word about it, right? She got it very, very wrong. But somebody said, I can't believe I'm being forced to suffer. No one's forcing you to suffer it. You literally, a notification must come up on your phone and say, Hammers Chat have uploaded a video. See, you've chosen to click on it. I'm not ramming it down your throat. I'm not in your front. I'm not pressed up against your window by your front room. Going, oi, you, watch me video. You must. I'm going to force you to do it. Watch something else. Honestly, please do. Please do. But anyway, a few people did enjoy it. So I think what we're going to do is once a week, we'll do a little section at the end of the video. We'll probably call it Talking Chat. And then we're going to ask for ChatGPT's prediction. But I think before we do that, maybe tomorrow, I'm going to have to ask what this 2-2 prediction was all about. As you know, I had predicted a loss for West Ham, not a 5-2 loss, truth be known. But she sort of talked me round with her persuasive ways. So we're gonna have a little chat about that. Anyway, boys and girls, enjoy the rest of the day. I'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully you can try and enjoy your Sunday, and West Ham haven't ruined it too much.